Welcome, or welcome back, to the Unnatural Selection channel, where we look at all things human and beyond. Today, we are starting a new series called Fact Check. The concept for this series is to try and answer the question of which creators, speakers, streamers, generally anyone in the online public space, spreads the most misinformation. Almost every post on something consequential, for example politics, science, history, health, all build their arguments on groups of facts. However, at the time we consume this content, we often have no way of confirming the accuracy of these facts, typically causing one of two reactions. Either you mostly agree with what they say and choose to believe them, or what they say goes against your existing views and you discredit them. In both cases, you almost never do the research yourself to fact check them. And why would you? Research takes a ton of time, often important information is behind a paywall, and maybe on a topic you know nothing about. This is a problem I think we all face, and is the inspiration for this series. What if we could use an AI research model to fact check every individual claim using its vast capabilities to create a standardized truth score, where people or groups who consistently score higher can be accurately considered more reliable and worth trusting. Before I explain how the AI research model works, I want to put a disclaimer out that the version I've developed for this video is very much a prototype. It has a long list of issues that I already know about, and probably way more I haven't even considered. I would love this project to become collaborative with you guys watching these videos, so if you have any ideas on how to improve the model, or perhaps certain aspects of fact checking you think I've missed, please leave a comment below. The current model has three main parts. First is figuring out how many claims are being made and how many of those claims are researchable. Not all claims can or should be investigated. Often it's because they're too vague.
Democracy kind of works, actually, in the end. Like, the people really knew what they needed.
Or are inconsequential.
We love having you in the building, especially when it means we get to see you on SNL this coming Saturday.
Currently, our definition of a claim is that it must be declarative, non-subjective, and able to be investigated.
You want to lose weight. You take anywhere between, and I can get on the specifics here, roughly 250 calories per day to 750 calories per day, depending on a few factors. Chunk that right out, and you watch the magic happen.
This is a claim we can look at.
How has life changed for you?
Well, I think I was troubled in my heart, in my head, and I'm in a place of peace.
This is not a claim we can look at. The second part of the model is figuring out how complex a claim is. It comes from the idea that the more complicated a claim is, the less certain we can be if it's correct. For example,
an action times an action equals a reaction, which science proves. Then 1 times 1 must equal more than 1.
This is a very simple and easy to research claim.
But if you don't know anything, right? When you don't know anything, everything can become a conspiracy. And I think that the lack of understanding of like basic civics, basic science, like how the government works, institutions, because we don't have the understanding and nobody spends time defending them because you take them for granted. Now everybody is questioning everything.
This claim is much harder to assign accuracy value to. The main ways of ranking claim complexity used in this model so far are the number of subjects or relationships in a claim, the contextual complexity, are we talking about theoretical physics or what colour a car is, for example, and how much debate there is surrounding the claim. Third and finally is how accurate a claim is. Sections 1 and 2 are automated by ChatGPT 4.0. Section 3, however, uses a dedicated research GPT called Web Browser. For each claim, it looks at 20 different sources prioritised by reliability and ranks how much the source agrees with the claim, 1 being completely and 0 being not at all. Currently, there are 5 tiers of accuracy a claim can fall into, which you can see here. It then takes the average score of all 20 sources to give the final accuracy score for each claim. As the model is in its early stages, I wanted the first video to be on something people find less controversial and easy to investigate. For that reason, we're going to look at this video by Flat Earth Dave. If anyone doesn't know this man, he is one of the most popular Flat Earth conspiracists on the internet, who most people would consider a grifter and scammer. Let's see how he scores. In this 4.5 minute video, our model recognised a total of 40 claims made by Dave for it to investigate. However, 18 of those were too vague to actually be checked, giving him what we're calling a vagueness score of 45%. His average claim complexity was 0.59, meaning most of his claims were moderately complex. However, It must be said this is probably too high, as the current model recognised conspiracists as valid sources of debate, so almost all of his claims got a maximum debate score. The most important numbers here are how accurate his claims were. To be blunt, as many of you may have predicted, they were terrible. For a trustworthy and respected content creator, you would hope that almost all of their claims fall into these two zones. In the case of Mr. Flat Earth Dave, the majority of his claims ranked here in the totally inaccurate zone, basically blatant lies or total ignorance. His overall accuracy score was 0.45, meaning the average claim in this video was at best only partially accurate. But looking back at the graph, we can see almost every claim is at the top or the bottom. So in reality, a Dave claim has an almost 50% chance of being an outright lie. Highlights from Dave's false zone claims include this.
Flat Earth is provable. We live on a flat, level plane. All of our senses, all of our measurements, every scientific test done through history by accredited scientists to prove axial rotation, the spinning of the Earth, or curvature of the Earth, has failed.
This is disproven resoundingly by a series of observations and experiments extensively verified by science. The Foucault pendulum is a basic experiment to prove that the Earth rotates, as well as the existence of the Coriolis effect that provides the rotation for tropical storms, which can only be caused by a rotating Earth. There are also actual satellite videos that show the Earth spinning. Eratosthenes measured the curvature of the Earth over 2,000 years ago in 240 BC by measuring the angle of the Sun in two locations, confirmed by anyone who's climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, where you can actually see the curve of the Earth with your own eyes. Another blatant lie.
Large bodies of water at rest lay flat, scientifically, testably, provably, measurably flat.
The Earth is not actually completely round. It is an oblate spheroid. This bulge at the equator, including the oceans, is because of centrifugal or spinning force, which is at its greatest at the equator and works against gravity. Gravity is actually less at the equator. This change in gravity can be both physically measured using the same pendulum we talked about earlier, as well as by measuring the diameter of the Earth at different points using satellites. Having done this several times over multiple decades, geophysicists have shown the diameter to be 43 kilometers longer at the equator than at the poles, quite clearly disproving Dave's claims that oceans lay flat. These are just 2 of the 11 claims that the model determined to be completely inaccurate, as repeated research from credible sources has reliably disproven in multiple ways. This video isn't intended as a flat Earth debunk. Many people on YouTube have done far longer and better videos on this subject that you should watch if you're interested in the topic. This video is more of a proof of concept for the idea that we can start to use a multi-GPT AI model to create a standardized scoring system for people who make claims online. Flat Earth Dave was a very easy first creator for the accuracy aspect of the model, as so much of what he says is clearly false. The main numbers to understand is that this video has an overall accuracy score of 0.45 and that 28% of his claims in this video fall into the red zone, meaning total lies or extreme ignorance. Your choice. We may revisit him or this video in the future. It could serve as a good benchmark for how the model changes as it develops, hopefully becoming more accurate and reliable. If you guys have any specific videos from content creators you want me to investigate, then please comment them. I'll start keeping a list to show the most common requests so you guys can see the videos that you want to see. Thank you for watching. This has been Fact Check on Unnatural Selection.